I have some thoughts. I'm gonna share them. Doing this video off my smartphone, but I had to make it up to you, so I gave you this beautiful background. That is the Atlantic Ocean you're looking at right there. Anyway, the French Open is my least favorite major. Full disclosure, it just is. And you know, I love them all, so that's not saying much, but there are a bunch of things that go on at the French Open that bug me. They annoy me. First of all, can we please get some lights? And now, I will say this. I am not the traditionalist that I know many tennis fans are. That I know, like for example, I did a video about 6 or so months ago during the year about tennis and its ability to reach young audiences. And I talked about certain things like narratives and more, or I guess, you know, more uncensored speech by the players, so to speak, right? And I would say 75% of the people disagreed with me. So maybe this is going to be like that. But it's 2018, and we still don't have lights for some reason. I don't get it. Now, if you don't want night tennis, you don't have to schedule night matches, right? Like they do at the US Open and the Australian Open. Like Wimbledon doesn't schedule night matches, right? That's fine. But at least finish the day session. Just have lights so you can finish that last match. To have matches suspended by darkness, I mean, it changes the entire complexion of tennis matches. The whole beauty, or part of the beauty of a tennis match is that you're all alone out there, and you need to, whatever momentum and ebbs and flows are going on in the match, it's up to you to break momentum or to keep momentum, and to roll with punches, and to, you know, use those ebbs and flows to your advantage. When you have a break and you get to go to your hotel room and talk to your coaches and sleep, I mean, it changes the outcomes of matches undoubtedly, for really no good reason. So I wish that there were lights at the French Open. Here's another thing. No Hawkeye, just because the balls leave a mark. But time and time again, I'm seeing players arguing with the chair umpire about ball marks, arguing about whether or not the chair umpire has the right ball mark, is actually looking at the right ball mark. And even when they agree on the ball mark, you still see players arguing about whether or not the ball mark shows that the ball was in or out. Can we please use Hawkeye? I've also, by the way, seen some people say that Hawkeye is less accurate on clay, but everyone who I have asked has denied that. Now, I've sent an email out to someone who played a role in actually inventing Hawkeye and bringing it to television at ESPN. Before the tour introduced it, television was using it. I have sent an email to this guy, and I will let you know what he says. I'm pretty sure Hawkeye is just as accurate on clay as it is on all the other surfaces. If he gets back to me and says that that's not true, then I'll let you guys know and I'll correct that. So those two main things definitely kind of annoy me about the French Open. But I want to touch on two other things, just checking in here. The Serena Williams thing, the fact that she was not seated at the French Open. I think it's perfectly fine to feel like there's something wrong there, to feel like there has been an injustice, but the French Open can't do anything about it. It's the WTA. So I just want everyone to sort of understand that. If the French Open were to seed Serena, where are you going to seed her? You're making up rules. You are making seeding something that is subjective, which that's not what seeding is supposed to be. You're also taking a seed away from someone who has played in the last 16 months and has earned that seeding. So it's up to the WTA to put in place a rule about maternity leave that will say something like, if a player misses time for maternity leave, their rankings points will be protected for a calendar year. Something like that. I know in Europe the rules about maternity leave are, I don't know, I'll say very progressive, very long breaks. Women get very long breaks, as do men, when a woman has a child In the United States, it's much worse. It's like, I think it's like 3 months or something like that in the US. So a big difference there. Obviously, there can be some differing perspectives on that. But the WTA should probably put that rule in. And then the last thing, Niklas Kicker. Accused, or not accused, really charged and indicted of throwing a match. There's a couple problems here. First of all, this has been undercovered. Why don't I see people talking about this? Why isn't Tennis Channel talking about this, you know, in their match coverage? This is huge. And then, more importantly, even more than the media covering it, why hasn't the ATP been vocal about telling us what they are doing to make sure that this is not happening, and when this does happen, exactly what they are going to do about it? This is a big problem. This is about the integrity of tennis, and this problem stems from the fact that if you are outside of the top 100, you are not making a good living at all. That is when people are contacting you and they're saying, hey, I will pay you $100,000 to throw this match, because I'm gonna make a, you know, I'm gonna put a wager on your match, and I'm going to make $400,000 if you lose it. I'll give you $100,000 of that. It becomes very attractive to someone who's only making $60,000 per year. So that's where this problem arises. Can they do anything about that problem? The fact that not enough players are making money on tour, and especially in the challenger circuit? I'm not quite sure. But what they can do is they can tell us, they can be vocal, and they can tell us exactly what they're doing to make sure that this is not happening. Because you can't have people spending money. You can't have tournaments spending money on matches that are illegitimate. You cannot have a ranking system when sprinkled in there are matches that are illegitimate. Obviously, that is unacceptable. So the Niklas Kicker thing is an issue. Hopefully it's not too prevalent in men's tennis, but it could be. Not at the higher levels where players are making enough money where they don't have to do these things, but at the lower level, it very well may be. And the ATP, I want them to tell us what they're doing about it. So those are my thoughts. I guess early French Open, Nadal had a really tough match against Simone Bolelli, which was crazy how Bolelli knocking the cover off the ball. But honestly, Bolelli was redlining, didn't matter. Nadal beat him in straight sets. Del Potro is playing as I speak, and it looks like he's going to get through, although he did drop the first set 6-1. So hopefully Delpo settling in here. Let's see, what else? Gaffan had to come back from 2 sets to love down, which was crazy, but so far sort of status quo. Jack Sock got upset. Sock having a horrible year, and that's pretty much it off the top of my head. Nothing too major has happened, but you know I'll be here with the video as soon as it does. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.